guys, and welcome to another guitar lesson with me, Rex Pearson from rexpearson.com. I'm sure you saw it down there, but I thought I'd say it anyway. I hope you're having an awesome week looking at an advanced guitar lesson. Now this is for people who are looking for ideas and inspiration on how to sort of develop their understanding of scales and become more free on the fretboard using a technique called sweep picking. And it's not really a method that's used very often. I've never actually seen anyone use this method because it's a method that I came up with to learn scale shapes and try and be able to move around the fretboard a little easier. So I thought I'd share it with you guys out there, you shredaholics, and see what you guys think to it. And hopefully it will help you learn your scale shapes better and give you more freedom on the fretboard when you're improvising, which is pretty important. So let's get started and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So all the shapes that I'm going to be showing you are going to be based around natural minor, because we all know natural minor in A is the one that we all know. So hopefully you know your 7 positions within that, because this is an advanced guitar lessons. If you don't, well worth learning at least the 7 positions across all 6 strings so that you can play them reasonably smoothly and visualize the notes. Now we're going to be using a sweep picking technique. Now let me show you the pattern that I'm going to be using and how we can use this to develop our understanding of the scale. Okay, so the first time we're doing this, we're going to start on the 5th fret here on the G string. Now there's a little hammer on and pull off pattern and a slide. So get that under your fingers. Then we start the sweep. It's a 3-note sweep. Then we're going to pull off from that sweep and come back down to the first note. So the full pattern. And then it will repeat from there. Make sure that the right hand is doing the correct sweeping and picking. Rewind the video and have a look at how I'm doing that, and that will give you an idea of what's going on there. Right, now here's the musical bit, the bit that's going to help you hopefully solidify your scale shape. The way that this works to help you develop your scale knowledge is to try and take a musical sequence and move it into the next part of the scale shape. So what I'm going to do with this one is, or what we're going to do, is we're going to move it up 1 fret. And we're going to start 1 fret higher and repeat the musical sequence. Now the reason why this is slightly different to a lot of other exercises is that it forces you to play every single note in every single combination. Rather than thinking of scale shapes as position 1, 2, 3, 4, it connects them all as just one entire shape. And it's quite, well, I certainly found it quite difficult when I first started doing this, because it's a very different way of viewing scales, because you have to think of 3 strings at once. So let's move this shape. We're going to move it up 1 fret. So we're going to start on the 7th fret. Now try to work out where those scale notes would be and in the right order with that shape. I would do that first before listening to the next part, so I'd pause the video there and see if you can work out where the shape happens from here. Then we're going to move on. Start on the 7th, let me show you what it would sound like. That's what the second shape would sound like, because everything else has been relatively moved in the same direction. Everything's relative to each other, so you're not going to have something that's mixing the 1st and the 2nd shape. Everything is moved. Then you just continue up, and each time you try and piece together the scale as you move up. For some you might find this very easy. For those with weaker scale knowledge this will be very difficult, because you have to think of the scale on 3 strings at the same time rather than the usual 1 string at the same time. So, 3rd position then would be this. 4th. 5th. 6th. And then the final one, which is an octave higher. And at the end there, I finish it with a that little part at the end, just to round it off. Now, I've shown you that in the key of A. Now what I would like you to do, and to prove to yourself that you can do this, is to try it in a different key. So I would suggest trying it in C minor. Start with the very first shape and get that under your fingers, and then try to visualize the scale shape as you move up. As you move up the neck through each position. Try not to think of it as shape 1, shape 2, shape 3. Try and think of it as a musical sequence that you're moving up one note at a time in the scale shape, and it will really help, or it's helped me massively understand the connection between all the scales, and gets you thinking on a deeper level when you're improvising, because you'll be able to visualize the scales, and you might come up with a musical sequence that you can then move up a note, down a note. You might take the first one, for example, then I'll go to the next position and I'll skip one, then I'll come back down, then up. So I'll just play it to you at sort of the normal speed that I would play that riff at, and you can hear how it sounds as it moves up the fretboard. But I would encourage you to try your own riffs, try your own ideas, and see where this takes you. Here we go. So remember that the idea of the exercise is to try and develop your scale knowledge using a musical sequence, and in this case we're using a sweep picking riff. You can apply that technique to anything, remember, and it's a great way of improving your ability to learn the fretboard, and the ultimate goal obviously is to be able to improvise without needing to think so much about the scale shapes, but think more about what you're playing and the musical sequences that you're creating. I hope, guys, that has given you at least a bit of inspiration or a new trick to try on your guitar, because that's why I'm here. And if you're a subscriber, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If you're not a subscriber, there's a little button up there that you can hit, and the more subscribers I have, the better lessons that I can create for you guys, which I hope you would want. So, have a great week, guys. I'll see you on Sunday for your next lesson. And until next time, keep shredding, guys. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. See you then.